Ladies and gents, welcome back. Holy cow, starting a little bit late this week, 5 minutes late. I thought I had things all under control, but I guess I didn't. That's for sure. Anyway, hey, welcome back, everyone, to the live stream. This happens every single Friday, from, we start at 6:30 normally. It's about 6:35 here, 6:36. In the West Coast, that's wherever you're from, 9:30 Eastern time. That's what we do here on the Clyde Do Something channel. If you're new here, this is the live stream. Happens every Friday evening, same time every week. Normally do content during the week, Monday through Friday in the mornings. In the mornings, do about 10-minute segments about news I thought was kind of important for me and this country that we have here, maybe even some international news, but I normally stick largely to Canadian topics. But hey, that's a thing. So everybody, welcome to the live stream as I frantically try to get this thing going so we can all talk about some of these topics. Why don't we get the chat in here? Everybody, welcome. We got people filing into the room quickly. Notifications, I guess, are being sent out. About time. Geez, yeah, exactly. Right? Holy cow. Running a bit late. Really was today. It was kind of a busy day, and lots going on everywhere and on the sidelines. But hey, got into it. Hey, no notices from anywhere, Clyde. Oh, well, I just went live. It's weird because I'll set it up usually half hour in advance, and then hopefully YouTube will send out those notifications, but it doesn't always do that. I might have to start doing some sort of like start it earlier, and then like 15 minutes before set it to live, but set it to some other setting where it's like a waiting to start stream thing. I don't know. I don't think that'll work. I just like doing this small chit chat as it gets going. That I think is probably a better layout for everything. YouTube censors, I hear. Well, this is what I hear too. I haven't really noticed any censorship apart from you're not allowed to talk about the like you're not really allowed to talk about stuff and any issues with that. That's the only real active censorship. But I mean, there's some like marginal censorship, which is really weird. There's keywords. Keywords will get you demonetized. That's for sure. And what happens when you're demonetized? The worst part about being demonetized is it's not about, like, oh, I'm not going to make a bunch of money on a video. It's more, I mean, even if the way it works is they're not making money off it. So they're not going to recommend it to anybody. As soon as you get that yellow check mark, it's over. It's over for that video. So that's just that. So I do my best to avoid some of the words and the words change all the time. They change all the time. I noticed one word that you can't say. I'm not going to say it, but it's people that want to do inappropriate things with people who are not adults. That word is a bad word. You can't say it. But I did find one that you can say in the meantime that you won't get you in trouble, and that's this word, nonce. So you can call them that, and you can get away with that. But these are the little ins and outs of YouTube. But that's a thing. That's definitely a thing. What's the chat saying about that? Oh yeah, snuggle snuggle instead of talking about grapes. It all depends on what you're referring to. Rob Hellfire, thanks for wanting up your membership for 4 months going strong. Clyde, can we see your t-shirt? Cheers, everybody. Oh, what's on my t-shirt today? I've got Godzilla, and it's actually spelled out on the bottom. Godzilla. Yeah, it's awesome. I love this shirt. I got it in Japan. I'm a big fan of the kaiju. He's one of them. He's one of the best. Are you talking about the Kiddle Diddle? Clyde, I'm being watched now for honest comments and was given 2 warnings. And just for an opposite view, but I can't even say the word idiot. Whoa, what? Oh, Deborah McDonald, thank you so much with the gifting 5 memberships to the channel. That's amazing. Awesome. Everybody better get in the comments that got a free membership there. Give a big old thanks, big old thank you to Deborah McDonald. Thank you so much. That's amazing. Awesome. I see the membership has been going up and up and up. I need to start doing some other extended things for the memberships and possibly create another tier. Another tier of membership, I think, just to let the people who are the main donors who like giving out these memberships, they can one up themselves into the next tier and stand out even further from the crowd. Deborah, awesome. Thanks for your support of Clyde. Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you, Deborah. Amazing. Awesome. So we're going to get into some of this stuff tonight. Oh, so many people leaving comments and a little bit of pushback, and I like that. I actually like that. I like hearing pushback from people. Deborah McDonald with a $22 super chat. I've been on nights, day off. Nice, nice. I mean, nights isn't always great, but day off is always fantastic. I have done nights. I don't know what nights look like in your industry, but holy cow, nights. Well, I mean, I work as a mechanic now. Nobody does nights. What? But I did nights way back when I was a youngin'. At a foundry in Sudbury, Ontario. I don't think it even exists anymore for Nylon castings. Holy cow. 12 on, 12 off, and like 12 hours on, 12 hours off. 4-day stints, 4 days on, 4 days off. And every time you come back, you flip. It was the hardest thing. I don't know how some of the guys that did it for long term, they kept doing it and they just kept on it. I went into La La Land. It was crazy. You never quite have a circadian rhythm ever when you're in that scenario. But that's that. Thank you so much, Deborah McDonald. Really appreciate that. That's awesome. But yeah, we're gonna get into some of these stories today. I think a little bit of pushback is always good, and I think I'm gonna push back against some of the pushback that I was given. I'm not gonna name any names. It's not. That's what I'm not. I'm not about that. But I will talk about some of the pushback that I got. We're gonna get into that because we're gonna get into the story about the strike. What's going on in well, all over Canada at the moment right now, and that's a big issue, and it's a big hot button topic at the moment. And I'm still struggling to get all my clips together because I was running late. That's the thing. We're gonna get into some other stuff here too. As soon as I get all these clips gathered, come on. I really thought I had this all in order, but apparently I did not. But working on it. Hopefully I can get onto that. Oh, holy cow. Wow, really struggling this week to get things happening. I had one particular clip that I really wanted to show you guys, but unfortunately, I don't know where it went. Oh, boy. But there are also these things that I want to talk about, so I'm going to pull these up. Snap, snap, snap. And get those in place because that just makes way more sense if I have that in my queue, of course. Yes, that's right. Where are we going with this? Anyway, what's the chat saying? Where is the lineup? Go for to go to Mars. Oh yeah, Elon Musk offering that one eventually in the future. Just still got to try to get to the moon. They had what was it? What did they call it? Like unexpected disassembly or something like that of their rocket. It was a large success though. They actually still got that rocket up in the air, and that was definitely a large success. That's another story that I wanted to put in there, but where do I put it in the queue? That's the question. Oh God, it's incredible how much there is to talk about, and you forget about this as you start to go live, and then you don't have it all set up and ready to go, and that's usually the case here. But hey, why don't we get into some of this stuff, because I wanted to talk about this unbelievable thing that the government's doing at the moment. They thought this was a great idea. Now, this kind of came up during the inquiry into the use of the Emergencies Act. They kept talking about the Ambassador Bridge and how it might have ruined a deal that they were trying to put forward for automotive manufacturer to do batteries in Canada, and they thought, "Oh, we might lose the contract in Canada." Excuse me, whip my whistle here. But they thought we might lose this contract to the United States, to which, well, whatever. I mean, Canadians' fundamental rights. What's more important, of course, to the government of Canada? It seems that, well, they believe that automotive contract is more important. Now, this being said, let's get into what contract that may have been and what this contract that they've just announced today was or is. Dan Knight on Twitter saying, breaking, Volkswagen to receive $13 billion with a B, $1 billion in corporate welfare from Canadian government. Hurting Canadian taxpayers. Despite government promises of job creation and growth in the electric car or the electric vehicle industry, this deal represents a massive handout to a foreign corporation at the expense of the Canadian taxpayers. The subsidy works out to $430,000 per worker, and there's no equity stake in the for the Canadian government. This is shameful display of corporate welfare, and this will harm Canadians for years to come. Absolutely will. This is ridiculous. It's nuts. And of course, the news drops on a Friday, because when else do you drop news like this? Now, well, we'll just get into it because, well, Maxime Bernier brings this up. He says, another liberal record, we should abolish all corporate welfare and lower taxes for all businesses instead. Now, the deal here is Volkswagen gets $13 billion. It's the biggest corporate welfare payout in modern Canadian history. The predecessor to this record was Bombardier with $4 billion over 50 years. Not just straight up handout, $4 billion over 50 years. It doesn't even come close. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Here we are with the National Post with their completely horrible layout of a website. I just want to mention this every time I bring up a National Post article. Yeah, your website layout is trash. Come on, fix it. Like, what's this banner thing that keeps rolling down every time you scroll? Anyway, try to get it in the shot here. First reading, Volkswagen's $13 billion budget is the biggest corporate welfare payout in modern Canadian history. Bombardier's $4 billion, which was collected over 50 years, doesn't even come close, which was what Bernier said in his tweet. First reading is a daily newsletter keeping you... I don't care. See, this is why this layout sucks. Come on. One of the biggest papers in the country. You can figure out how to make a website. Would you? Don't. Who drives a VW, lol? Okay, well, let's get into that, because there's the one thing that I had mentioned, I brought up in my Twitter, and, well, we got to bring Twitter up here. 1 second, bring this up, because I was completely unprepared for today's show, of course. So, $13 billion handout to a company with aims to save the climate. That's the whole point with the batteries, right? This is the same company that was caught cheating emissions regulations and paid $33.3 billion in fines. Let's not forget that Volkswagen as a corporation, they have diesels, which everybody thought was great. They had these fantastic diesel engines that, were fantastic. And, well, why were they so fantastic? Well, some clever programmer figured out that you could cheat the emissions regulations by figuring out when the car's on a dyno. The car could figure out all by itself when it was on a dyno, and it would detune itself so that, hey, it looks great. They're totally good. And then your car would drive kind of crappy for about, I don't know, a mile or so. And then it would go right back to driving great. Well, and the reason why is because we're trying to cut down the NOx gases, the Nitrous oxide gases that come out of diesel, well, any engine, it comes from hot combustion in the combustion chamber. And, well, diesels can't avoid it. They just can't avoid it. So now we have all these elaborate systems for that use a DPF filter, a diesel particulate filter. It's a one-way filter that will clog up. So in order to unclog them with the diesel particulate, for running this diesel particulate and cleaning up the NOx gases, they have to inject urea and burn urea in these systems, to which there is no data yet on the adverse effects to the environment. But hey, we're getting rid of the NOx, right, in a car, and not to mention the hydrocarbons are all off the chains. Anyway, Volkswagen, of course, you know, conforming to the diesel standards. Now, this is an awesome meme. California, no more gas or diesel cars sold by 2035. VW emissions team. Just cross out the TDI and write electric on it. But no, this is for real. This is what they did. They cheated the system, and because of it, because of their cheating in that, they were told they had to pay $333 billion in fines over those cars, and a few guys actually went to jail over it. I'm not kidding. They actually went to jail. And a little side note to that, funny way of getting them to come over, for instead of extraditing them, the United States offered them free trips. Through some other third party, offered these guys a free trip. Hey, we got you full on vacation. Come on over. And as soon as they got off the plane, they got arrested and they're in jail now. So that was something that happened. But they absolutely take that stuff seriously, but not as seriously as the Canadian government, because we're just throwing our money away. Here we are. Well, there was Maxime Bernier talking about it. Franco Terrazzano saying $13 billion for 3,000 jobs. This is all they're going to get based on this Globe and Mail article. 3,000 jobs. Taxpayers are giving a multinational corporation buckets of cash at the cost of $4 million per job. Seriously. And that's not us ever getting our money back on this. How do you get your cash back on that at all? Not happening. Why is this happening like this? The words are getting kind of a little bit cut off on the sides there. Trish Prue, thank you so much. Gifting 5 memberships to the channel. 5 lucky people out there got a membership to the Clyde Do Something channel. Welcome, and thank Trish Prue so much for that. Make sure you get in the chat and give her a big old thanks for that. Thank you so much, Trish Prue. But yeah, $4 million per job. Great work, great investment, solid one right there. But so back on Twitter, oh goodness, I have to go back to some of these, what is it, the replies, I guess, to find where that conversation was. Yes, there it was. So $13 billion handout to a company with aims to save the climate. So the thing that I said earlier. Now, a lot of people weighing in on this, of course, saying, this is a great one. Green my ass legacy media in Canada won't let you know that over 70% of the cobalt comes from child labor in the Congo. I don't know about the 70% number, but this is where the cobalt's coming from. Like, no joke. This is human labor. This is literally slaves being sent down with axes and hammers to pull the cobalt out of the ground just to send it over. And of course, there's all kinds of issues, environmental and, well, physical issues like health problems for people who are doing exactly this, as automakers gather at CES 2023 to proudly announce their newest models of EVs. I wonder how much time they'll spend discussing that it is the kind of hellscape from which cobalt in their batteries is mined, or what kind of hellscape that it is that they are mined in. Unbelievable. Unreal. Now more people giving replies. This dimwit, or midwit, I'd say. He's not a total dimwit, but maybe a midwit. Experts said electric vehicles can vehicle supply chain could create 250,000 jobs. Could create 250,000 jobs. This is not a guarantee. All of which would be durable as the world moves away from fossil fuels and builds a new green economy. Good luck with that. But then says, are you an expert or just a Karen? Calling me a Karen. And then I asked, are you giving me a trickle-down economics explanation for why taxpayers should give VW $13 billion? 3,000 jobs is all this will directly create, not the best return on investment. To which I got called a Karen. Oh, okay. My bad. I mistook you for someone who actually wanted to be part of the conversation. Just a loud chihuahua behind a chain link fence, I guess. I won't make that mistake again. These are the things that you learn on the internet. This is the way things go. Oh boy. Clyde Darren, not Karen. Uh-oh. Are you actually calling me a Darren? Is that the male Karen? Is Darren? I thought people were calling it John, but that doesn't sound funny. It sounds like someone that I know that acts like a Karen, but damn, Clyde, keep up, brother. Yeah, I guess I have to. I gotta keep up. I guess Darren is the. Oh, you see, there's some Kevin. People have all different names. Male Karen is Kyle. Okay. Brian. There's always a Brian. All right. Nope. See, I got to keep up. Looks like other people need to keep up. There's no consensus on this one. Yeah, there's no consensus on that one whatsoever. But yeah, that's, oh boy, unbelievable. We're yet to see what will come through for that. Now, I'm all in favor of investment into companies and stuff like that, but this is $13 billion that the Canadian taxpayers will never get back. They're not giving this out as a loan to the automotive manufacturer. Why Volkswagen? Why do they get it? It's like this, hey, here, have it. And we never need it back. What? Now, somebody do the math for me. Even if it did equate to 250,000 jobs, even if you got 250,000 jobs from that, how much tax would be collected on 250,000 jobs? And from that tax, how long would it take to pay back the $13 billion? So if you're saying that this is a net positive for society, I get it. It's a net positive for, the economy as a set. Like if people have jobs and they're going to spend their money in the economy, yeah, that's fine. And of course, it's a trickle down economic theory that you're throwing out there. But in all seriousness, $13 billion, how long would it take for even 250? I'll give it the benefit of the doubt that 250,000 jobs are created. Of only 3,000 were offered or said to be created. But of those workers, how long would it take to pay back $13 billion? I'd love to see someone break that math down, because I doubt it's going to be soon. I doubt it'll be cool very soon. And that's where we are for return on investment. For the Liberal government, we don't get any return on investment for any of the things that we do. Now, moving on, before we move on to the next story, I'd like to point out the like button. Go make sure you hit that like button. We got 307 people watching right now, and we've got 147 likes on the live stream at the moment. Now, the way this works is when the algorithm sees lots of likes on a live stream or a video, they see comments in the chat section, they see comments in the videos. What it does is it takes that data and it throws it out there, and it says, hey, there are people out there that have very similar watch habits to the people that are watching this live stream. I bet they would love this live stream. I bet they would tune into it and they would watch it too. And that's the whole point. It helps the channel a whole ton. If you just hit that like button, it costs you nothing. Just get on there, boop, boop. And also an interesting fact is if you hit the share button and it says copy link, you can share it out later. You can do whatever you want with that, but just the method of hitting share and copy link, it really makes a difference there. So Jay is saying, Clyde, do something. $10 a day would take you over 250 years just to hit 1 billion. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So yeah, interesting question though. Is it how long would it take to regain that money back through tax revenues? It just doesn't make sense. Deborah McDonald with the $55 super chat. I support Clyde. Well, thank you so much. I wasn't really asking for that altogether, but thank you so much. I'm not gonna say no, but thank you. You're just asking for the like button. Thank you so much, Deborah. We'll put that to some good use and get some more equipment for the channel for sure. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And Chippy Outdoors gifting 5 Clyde Do Something memberships. Thank you for that. Holy cow, everybody in the chat, make sure you give a big old thanks to Chippy Outdoors for the upgrade to your ability to make different chats. We're, again, going to get on to making either some more tiers or some more perks for the memberships here on the channel. Clyde, I have a jockstrap if you need any more support. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Wow. Okay, membership abound tonight. Nice. Yes. All right, let's get into some of this other stuff. I'm going to close some of these windows now that I've talked about that because I just have so many tabs open and it's just ridiculous. And it gets very ridiculous. Deborah McDonald with another $11 super chat. Thank you so much. You are loved. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Holy cow. Wow, just going all out tonight. High roller in the chat. Jay again with the Clyde Do Something. $10,000 a day, not $10 would take 250 years to make $1 billion. Okay, yeah, that makes way more sense. Not $10, but yeah, 10 grand. 10 grand a day. So how long? Yeah, I mean, how much taxes would people have to pay in order to, out of 250,000 employees? That's just unbelievable. Don't forget to mention the official 7 days to game server called Post Trudeau. Yeah, so for people, excuse me, for those that like video gaming in the community, in the Discord server, which is always we've always have the link in the description down below. There is a group within the Discord that has started a new server on an older game. It's a bit of an older game, but it's a fun one. It's a zombie apocalypse survival game where you can team up and it's all about building and surviving. Anyway, they've started a server called Post Trudeau because this is the Post Trudeau Canada with the remnants of any ability to survive and everything. It's post-apocalyptic, so let's put it that there. And yeah, so the server exists. It's free to get in if you want to join and join all the other people building a world surviving after Trudeau has been prime minister for more than 8 years in the virtual space. Anyway, lots of fun. And there's a chat just for the people that are hanging out and playing that game. And if you're into that sort of thing, well, that's available in the server on Discord. And anybody can join in. The link, as always, is in the description down below. It's in the description of every video. So if you ever want to join the community over on Discord, it's a fun social media platform that we like to hang out in. It's we try to make it less of an echo chamber than other Discords typically are, but you know, it is what it is. And it's a lot of people from this community, so a lot of like-minded people. And yeah, go in there. We hang out there every Friday night for the post live stream, and we go over for some wobbly pops and have a good old time. And I get to hear from you guys in the community. So head on over and we'll have a chat after the live stream. Awesome, Clyde. I'll try it. Check out the game. Yeah. So it's called 7 Days to Die. It's an older game, so it's really cheap. It's available from a lot of other like Humble Bundle and stuff, those kinds of services where you can get it for very cheap. What are your thoughts about the proposed drug addict involuntary intervention legislation? Now, I've done a video on that. And was that in my list of things to talk about? It was not, but I can get into that. Why don't I get into that now? I mean, I'm just going to give you a brief summary because I did a video on it this morning. So I'll fill you in on that, but you can always check out the channel to get the coverage of what I did. Stephen Gibbons, welcome to the community. Thanks for the membership and supporting the channel. Really appreciate that, Stephen Gibbons. Thank you. And yeah, so essentially, I sent out a feeler to Danielle Smith because I would love to talk to her about the intentions of this. Now, the idea that's been going around, CTV News, Global News, all of these agencies immediately started talking about it, and immediately I'm like, okay, well, what's their spin? The UCP in Alberta is saying, allegedly saying, that they want to provide some sort of involuntary push into rehabilitation for some drug addicts in Alberta. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Why are they intentionally vague about it? Anyway, the story was originally dropped by the Globe and Mail. And in the Globe and Mail story, yes, they didn't get into the words of the legislation. They didn't get into it. They gave their own account of what it says. Now, that's a leak, right? That's a leak. I don't know what it says, and this is why I wanted to reach out to Danielle Smith. I sent out a prompt on Twitter. I tweeted out saying, Danielle, I would love to talk to you about this. Is this true, or is this all hyperbole? Now, immediately I went over to the independent sources and a little bit more right-leaning sources, and I saw that True North was reporting the same thing. They're saying that there's going to be a path to an involuntary thing. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the idea of involuntary anything, but at the same time, if people are committing crimes, they need to be put into some sort of facility, right? If they're arrested, jails, for example, are not a great place for addicts, and I'll tell you why. So this is a story that ends up happening quite often. Is drug addicts will be arrested for committing crimes, and typically drug addicts will commit crimes because they have very expensive habits, and well, they don't have jobs a lot of these times. Like, they're at the bottom rungs of society, no job. How are you going to fuel the cost of these expensive drug habits? So what they end up doing is they end up stealing things and then pawning them off, and breaking into cars, trying to find money, doing all these things in order to get their drugs. It's a slippery slope, Clyde. Give the government an inch and they'll take a mile. And this is why I'm walking into it with some hesitancy, right? So I'm asking, is this hyperbole, or is this what's actually happening? And if they're saying involuntary something, I want to get to the bottom of it, and I don't want to condemn or support it based on somebody else's account of what is being said there. So please bear with me on that, at least in that respect. But here's what I'm saying. Being in jail is involuntary, it's incarceration. It's being involuntary, captivity. That is something that we agree with in society. This is something that we are okay with. Now, for some addicts, it could be quite dangerous for them to just go completely cold turkey on some of these drugs. And I could see maybe if that was the case and that's what they're getting into, that, you know, if somebody's arrested and they want intervention, that's the kind of intervention that we could get into. Why is my phone going nuts right now? Got a question for you. So nope, not at this time. Sorry, but put it in the chat if that's what's going on. If you're watching the live stream anyway, don't send me DMs. Anyway, yeah. So here's the thing. It's actually an issue right now. A lot of drug addicts, what'll happen is they'll be arrested for a crime that they commit in the act of trying to get their drugs. They go to jail for a stint of time. They go completely cold turkey on the drugs. When they get out, they go right back to their old habits. But what happens is they'll take the same doses that they were taking before they went to jail and got clean for months or whatever, and they come out and they'll overdose and die. And this is an old tale. This is not a new story. And I don't know. I think people who are put in that situation should be rehabilitated, because that's it. They just go straight back to the streets. No, we need to, if our efforts are to save people's lives, get them off the drugs. Get them off the drugs and give them an opportunity to do that. I don't know about the involuntary aspect of it. So as I get more information about that, I'm definitely going to be weighing in on it, because I do not condone, people just being plucked out of places and being put into things involuntarily. Yeah, I can't get behind that. Doreen, it's St. Pierre. Okay. I was like, I don't know if I can pronounce that. Doreen St. Pierre, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I really appreciate that. If you got something to say in the comments, make sure to leave that. I'll read out your comment. Already happening does not work. I'm not sure what you're referring to on that one. Drug addicts don't comply. No, they won't. And yeah, they won't. I don't see that being something that will happen. Drug addicts just, because this was the argument that was given by the advocacy groups. These addicts, if they're not ready for it, they can't do it. Well, you know what? Sometimes you need to be forced into something. This is the reality of the situation. I think for a lot of people, family members, if you're crazy, for example, if you lost your mind, can I say crazy anymore? Like, that's such a word, like it's one of those words, you're not allowed to say the R word, like retard. And sorry if that offends people, but the word retarded was the PC word back in the day, because they had a whole group of names for people: moron, imbecile, all these things, and they thought that was cruel. So they said, can we just call them all retarded? we just cycle of PC. It just keeps going and going and going. But here's the thing. Yeah, cray cray. We can say that, right? Yeah, people say Riri. But yeah, if you've lost your mind, if you've completely lost your mind, usually people like your family members would end up becoming someone who would have custody over you. Like, it would actually be something that they would be in charge of you. So if they had you incarcerated, it would be under those kind of circumstances. I think, there might be room for the idea that somebody who's completely lost it and has been through the system a bunch of times and has no next of kin, it's like really, really difficult, right? Should they be put into rehab? I'm not sure. Did you see the $13 billion government bailout for Volkswagen here? We talked about that earlier. It wasn't a bailout. It's just straight up, here's some money, build stuff. I disagree with it 100%. Absolutely. That's no way. But yeah, you can scroll back and watch that bit if you want to see that. The nice thing on YouTube is you can actually scroll back, watch that bit, and then scroll back up to the present and see where we're at when you've watched that part. So if you're keen on that, do that, or you can stay live and watch it later. They will die 100% from relapsing. Not if they're actually rehabilitated. But yeah, relapsing from just being put in jail for sure. It's just unreal. You try to do things right, and it's funny because other countries have tried this and have been, and I don't know what the success rate is. It's being suggested, but the same advocates that were saying like we should have free drugs, or we should have drugs be legal because other countries are doing it, are saying like we should really look out for this one on this one. Again, people saying that drug addicts need to be ready for rehab. It's like you're never ready for rehab as an addict. If you've known anybody who's addicted to any substance, they won't do it until they have no other choice. That's always the case. 20 million gold stolen from Toronto airport. I did hear about that. It was a heist. Yeah, there was a heist and nobody knows who it was. That's it. Okay, somebody stole $20 million worth of gold from Toronto airport. Done. End of story. Ah, that's odd how addiction... That's not how addiction works, lol. Okay, well, everybody that I know that's been addicted to a substance, they've never like voluntarily been like, you know what, I think today's the day that it's over. I think today it's done. No, everyone I know has always been it's either been an ultimatum for losing something else in their life, or rock bottom, or being forced into it. That's the only ways that I've ever seen it ever be successful. But hey, let's move on. Let's move on to this story here, and this is the story of the empty front of Parliament. Wait, why is this so empty? Isn't there supposed to be a bunch of people there? Oh wait, yeah, this is right. On the first day of the strike, after the first 4 hours, nobody was there. Oh, Clyde, the airport heist definitely sounds like an inside job. Yet another way to help crash the monetary system. Who knows? I have no clue. I'm not going to speculate on that because I have no actual insight to that at all. It's over when I say it's all. I'll make it that way. Yeah, exactly. I could quit anytime. It's just like gambling or any other addiction. 9 to 5 job, right? No, it's like 5 to 9. Oh God. So I did get a bit of pushback on this one, and I'm gonna get into that. Not free coke, just not going to jail for 2.5 grams. Yeah, but that's 2.5 grams of what's that drug called? Fentanyl as well. 2.5 grams of fentanyl is enough to kill a lot of people. PHAC only requires people to be there for 4 hours for a shift per day. I know. Which is actually more than they required for them to be at work previous. And we're getting into that. We're getting into that, aren't we? We are gonna get into this. But here's the I need to find that one clip, because the clip just kills me every time I see it. Somehow I lost it. If I just type in strike on Twitter, I'm sure it'll pop up. Because I found another clip apparently. Okay, well, we're gonna look at that. That's something that's going on with Can I find the clip? Will it come up? Those clips that circulate around, you think you'd find it really fast, but of course not. No. Oh, isn't that a shame? Isn't that a complete shame when you can't find the thing that you're looking for? And I swear, if you scroll far enough on Twitter in any direction, you'll find some K-pop junk. I don't know why K-pop is so huge on Twitter. And baseball for some reason. What is it? PHAC, or what is it called? I'm just going to do Strike Canada. The bit's got to come up. Oh no, the Menzies. I'm gonna have to share that one as well. We'll get into that, but the people on strike being asked questions, and it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. It really is. Of course, I can't find the clip now. The internet's been scrubbed of it. No, I don't think there's any conspiracies, especially not on Twitter. People post their L's all the time, and it's actually really entertaining to watch. Strike Canada workers. Let me do that. Okay, I'm gonna have to show that stat too, because it's so actually important. No, I can't find it. Unfortunate. Very, very, very unfortunate. But anyway, I'll just tell you what the people were saying. And here's the deal. So, oh, we got an elected union rep here. Okay, we will get into some of the things that they're saying, but unfortunately not all of it, because can't find the clip, unfortunately. But we'll see some of these clips in here. We'll have a look at this. Clyde, good man, yes, lol, but I don't love him, haha. Okay, don't love me, that's fine. Here we go. So, independent press. Thousands of federal employees in Canada go on strike Wednesday. Federal government workers prepare to set up a picket line at Service Canada office at Scarborough Town Centre. The strike could affect passports, tax filings, refunds, and EI services, among others. One of the others would be the grocery rebate that everybody's supposed to be getting, because the economy has gone to absolute trash. Now, when I was younger, when I was a kid, I was told, you know, you're not supposed to try to blackmail people. You're not supposed to bribe people. You're not supposed to use any sort of tactics like that if you want to get your way. But this is something that we do see with unions. This is absolutely what it is. I remember this because I remember my teachers telling me that, and then they went on strike. And they were using the children. They held them hostage to people, to the parents, just to put the pressure on so that they can get their way. So obviously, this one comes at a very critical time. That's the whole point with these strikes. It comes at a very critical time when people are waiting for their tax returns. Now, a lot of people get money back on their taxes. They pay taxes. They get it so good and still not happy, sickening. They never lost work during the pandemic, still got paid, etc. And that is true. All of these people did not lose their jobs during the pandemic. And in fact, this is why I really wanted to show that clip, because I just thought it was so important for that one thing. I hope I can find that clip. I think I might have it in the other thing, but let's hear from this is this is one of the people representing the striking workers.
My name is Jamie Mills. I am a elected union representative for all these folks here.
And what are you doing here?
We're actually on strike against the federal government of Canada. So our members, which are 155,000 Canadians coast to coast to coast, working in departments such as taxation, veterans affairs, employment insurance, passport, we've been unable to reach a collective agreement with the employer. We're out here on strike because of a want for fair wages that respect inflation and ensuring that we can have a work from home policy, and as well trying to eliminate contracting out of our work.
What do you think about inflation?
The amounts being offered by our employer don't match inflation and the high cost of living. Groceries haven't been more expensive in my entire life. When you go to the grocery store and you see $7 heads of lettuce, it's shocking and it's embarrassing. It's harder for all Canadians to put a quality meal on their table right now.
What do you think government can do to address this problem?
Large corporations like Loblaws and Sobeys, they're making record profits, and their CEOs are taking home millions of dollars. So what could we do? We could put a cap on CEO pay, and we could increase the corporate tax rate.
So what do you want? Do you want to raise, or do you want to grocery stores national things. Like this is they're not even sure in their own rhetoric what they want in this case. I mean, seriously, they're asking for more money, but here's the thing. We have to be paying more taxes, or we got to cut other programs in order to be able to afford your more money. Now, here's the real sad fact, and the real reality to this is that the government workers get paid more. They actually do get paid more for the same type of work. And this is where I got the pushback. So this is actually coming from the Fraser Institute. And the Fraser Institute says with 155,000 federal public servants across Canada set to begin strike action tomorrow morning, this was a few days past, it is important for Canadians to understand how government sector workers are compensated relative to comparable private sector workers. Now, I was given some pushback saying that, hey, I make $50,000 a year. I'm not rich. I'm not making like some $100,000 job, but you know, I know somebody who works in construction and they make way more money than I do. Well, this is what this is. It's for comparable private sector workers, people who work in a comparable job setting, a comparable amount of hours, comparable demographic, a comparable area of employ, a comparable geography. You know what I mean? All of these factors were factored in. And then the reason why it's 8.5% is because they factor in the benefits that are given. Here's the actual article from the Fraser Institute. And again, comparing government and private sector compensation in Canada, 2023 edition. So this is up to date. It's 8.5 per premium. It's an 8.5% premium on average over their private sector counterparts. And this is what needs to be addressed. If you are a government worker, say if you're citing someone who works in construction, you would have to talk about a government construction worker, someone who works for the government in the construction industry. You can't compare apples and oranges. And this is what they're not doing with this study. They actually go on that. So after for controlling factors like age, sex, marital status, education, tenure, size of firm, job permanence, immigrant status, industry, occupation, province, and city, the authors found that Canadian government sector workers from federal, provincial, and local governments enjoy a 8.5% premium on average over their private sector counterparts. And this goes back to 2001 because this is where we have all the data now. You can't get it from 2022. You're not going to get it yet. And in fact, if you get it from 2022, this percentage is going to rise through the freaking roof because so many people were out of work. You get it? So many people were out of work at that. Oh, what happened? Are we back? What's going on? Did we lose the chat? We lose everything. I'm seeing the chat now. Are we back? Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Are we back? Are we back live streaming yet? Is it working? Tell me if we're back. Tell me if we're back. When we're back. It's saying excellent condition, but it's not live at the moment. Are we back? How are we doing? Tell me in the chat as soon as you see that it's good. Cause oh boy, that's not good. Okay. What happened? the whole stream just went right down. Clyde is stalling. Oh, tell me if we're back. Okay, refresh. It looks like we're back. Oh no, what happened? That's why you would have a Rumble ad. I have a Rumble. Go check it out. I don't put the link for the Rumble because YouTube punishes people that put your Rumble links in their description. It's just not something you do. Oh no, we lost a lot of viewers just then. We're down to 212 viewers. That was really, really unfortunate. Oh, bummer. Yeah, you're getting C11'd. Oh, because I'm going over the actual statistics of this. Anyway, for all those people that are just coming back, okay, we're back up 293. Glad to see it. We're at 293 and there's only 285 likes. Come on, people. Hit that like button. You know how to do it. You know where it is. It's right there. It's right below. Check it out. It's right down there. Hit that, hit that like button. It helps out the channel a ton. It's a great thing to do. It helps us out a lot. Okay, we're right back up. It's 13. I need to refresh a bunch of stuff because wow, everything went wild here. Yeah, frozen again. It's good. Oh, it's frozen. Is it good? Are we good now? Where are we? Another form of censorship. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe it seemed like my internet went out or something. It seemed like it dropped because I didn't look at any other web pages to try to refresh, but my YouTube analytics was down as well. On purpose, Clyde. You're good. Okay. Awesome. But we're still at 327 concurrent viewers at the moment and 308 likes. 313. Hey, it's getting up there. It's looking better. It's looking better. But hey, we're back. So I guess we can get back into the story and what we were talking about. So again, a little bit of pushback. I'm not saying that people who are government workers are bad people. Like there's no way at all. There's no way that I could make a blanket statement like that. No, absolutely not. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying that every single person wanted to go on this strike. And I get that. But here's the thing. Be happy with what you have because you have what better than what any any person in the private sector has right now. And this is what really irks people and it gets people really angry, especially at a time where our taxes are going up and we're we're making less money and the cost is going up as well. And you know, if you work for the government, your employer is the reason why that's happening. The taxpayers shouldn't be on the hook for that. And by asking for more money now, you're asking for more money from the taxpayer. Don't ever think for once that it's the government that gives you money. Governments don't have money. Forget that concept. They just do not have money. Deborah McDonald did $11 super chat. Thank you so much. You have a Rumble? If I send you money on Rumble, I think you keep more. No. Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. But the majority of the audience is here on YouTube. Nobody watches me on Rumble. Nobody watches me on Rumble. So, I mean, I'll give them love when they give me some love. Let's just put it that way. Oh, honestly, I like the concept of there being other platforms out there, but I don't want to spread myself thin. I will definitely have backups on other places and stuff like that. We're going to be launching a website very soon. So look forward to that. Which will be, no, it's not 100%, or maybe you're saying 100% for something else, but Rumble does not take 100, or does not give you 100% of the stuff. YouTube takes 30%, Rumble takes 20%. That's definitely a thing. I would only watch you on Rumble if you were there. I watch a couple of other channels there exclusively. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not crapping on Rumble, no way. I think a lot of us would. Yes, I think so too. But I was just about to say, for those that are really concerned about that, so YouTube's very happy with me getting super chats. I think a lot of people that are sending people over to Rumble, it's going to come a time where that is going to get shut right down on YouTube. Please understand that is the case. They don't take kindly to people sending other people off platform. That's just, and why would you? Why would you? If you had a flower shop, would you be like stoked if a customer kept coming in and saying, hey, you know, you could buy flowers over there too. They got them cheaper over there. It's just a thing that they're not super happy about. But YouTube treats me all right. They haven't been horrible to me. But this is 100% for this year only on Rumble. Okay. Fair enough. I was under a different impression. Are you sure that's for everybody, or is that just for the people who get deals? Barry Drysdale with the membership. Thank you so much for joining the channel membership. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. YouTube's been really good to me. Rumble so far, not so much. I have my videos on there. They get some views, but yeah, it's not, let's say it's not lucrative. I know some people that are pushing it, they've got other deals, right? So they've got other signing bonuses and deals like that to bring them over to the platform. I hope they do really well. I really do. And I hope their app improves. I was listening to Shadow Davis the other day. I don't know if anybody in the chat here knows Shadow Davis. He has a show, and his show is up on Rumble. He used to be on Facebook, I guess, and I never caught any of those shows because I don't do anything on Facebook's platforms, or even go on Facebook. But YouTube just updated their list of don'ts, and you aren't allowed to recommend that viewers go to Rumble. Is that right? I don't think that they liked that in the first place, and I think that they're going to get stricter and stricter about it. That's a thing. But yeah, so I was just so Shadow Davis, he was on Rumble. He was interviewing Keith Wilson. I wanted to listen in on that, and I was using their app, and every 3 to 5 minutes it would pause on me, and I had to unlock my phone and hit play again, and it was really irritating. Like, there's so many bugs to the thing, and I get it. There's bugs to any new stuff, and they're working really hard at that. But you know, I hope they do well, and I hope they do better. But right now, my home's on YouTube. That's for sure. I like it here a lot. What I was going to get into is we're launching a website coming up really soon. And it's underway. It's very well underway, and I've actually got a team managing it, and they're going to be keeping an eye on it. And the big bonus for that, I'll tell you right after this. Greg Humphrey, member for 1 month. Thank you so much for renewing. The better Rumble gets, the less YouTube will censor. I agree with that. Rumble being stronger will make YouTube better, and that's absolutely true. Deborah McDonald with another $11 super chat to Clyde. My love, no matter what channel. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. That's awesome. That really is. And I don't mind, you know, a platform like YouTube gets me out there. They recommend me quite often. If they take a cut for the massive amount of recommendations that they put out for this channel, and they promote it, and I, like, no joke, the amount that YouTube promotes my channel is fantastic. It's great, and I owe them a service for that. I really definitely do. So it's not all censorship and bad. I know a lot of people will try to put it that way, but it isn't all horrible. YouTube still does provide a good service. And there are good people in the organization, just like there are bad people in the organization. And the more we push for the good to become the majority, the better, in my opinion. And I think that's a great way to push it. And yeah, I think more competition in the market is definitely great, but there's no way it's not smart, I think, in my opinion, for all of the people of one persuasion to abandon one thing. If you abandon it, then it's done. Congrats on the soon birth of your website. Yes. Why does it hurt when I pee? Probably for good reasons. That's the thing. But yeah, that's my opinion on that. I think people abandoned Twitter because it got crazy lefty, and then Elon Musk bought it, right? And Twitter's been coming around, and I love hanging out on Twitter. It's really good. But the birth of the website, really cool. Something that's going to be coming along with the birth of the website, which I've been promising for way too long, but not getting around to it because I spend more time researching stories and talking to you guys than I do trying to do some side hustle. It will be merch. People have been begging for it. People want hats and shirts and things like that to to buy and to so they can bring it around and bring it to some of the freedom rallies and show their friends and all that stuff. So we're gonna make that available for you guys. That'll be available on the website, and that's where we'll be pushing that. And hopefully that works out for everybody on that. Not only that, but we're gonna have a way for people to donate if they want to donate and not have any intermediary in between. We'll make it so people who are really concerned about that, that's the place where they can do that, so that everything's a one-stop shop. Bam. All your news for all the boomers out there that still like to bookmark web pages and check those once a day kind of thing. If anything happens to the subs feed and whatever on YouTube, we're going to be having that set up so you can have that website bookmarked, do that the way you want to do it. And I know a lot of people like that. Sexy calendars, maybe we'll make those available for what sexy people you want on them. I don't know. Not me, of course. Some do something merch. Do something. Vote. Yeah, okay. We're gonna have some of that stuff. So we'll have like hats and shirts and whatever for people that really want that stuff. I know a lot of people have wanted that. I hate YouTube. It really does suck. I don't hate YouTube. I think YouTube's been very good to me. So that's what I got to say about that. I'm so old. I still remember when harass was 2 words. You got me. I like that. That's great. Your fireman friends, Clyde. Not all of them are pretty. Do your servers have capacity to stream to Rumble in parallel to YouTube? So yeah, that I thought about that, and that could be a possibility moving forward. But what I find is it's easier to have my intimate and interactive. This is what the Friday night streams are all about. It's about having an intimate and interactive thing with the audience, and it's harder when you have 2 chats that aren't talking to each other, right? So that's an issue. And you can have the stream bots, but then it's filled with the stream bot saying this person said that and this person. If it's all in one chat, boom, there it is. If Clyde was live on Rumble, I would not be here. Yeah, that's the thing. So people would be split into both the chats, and that would be that. I don't really have a Rumble audience, so I wouldn't be opening any doors over there. That's the thing. I would be bringing people to Rumble, not actually utilizing what they don't really have discovery on the website. Here's how YouTube works, and here's a little trick for all those people who really want to have a YouTube channel and be successful at it. Be consistent. Just YouTube, if you want YouTube to like what you're doing, be consistent and be predictable so YouTube knows who to recommend it to. So if you always upload videos on the same day, or if you upload videos every day at the same time, they know this is when it's going to be there. This is when people will want to watch it, and then they recommend it. And if you have a routine, that really helps. Live streams don't have that kind of thing. They really don't. The live viewership on YouTube is really based around the people who are watching the channel already for that recommendation algorithm. They don't have a live stream recommendation benchmark other than that set. Did you see a dent in views after your vacation? Massive. And it actually took a month to get back up to like 1 million views a month on the channel. And that's a typical month, 1.5 million views on the channel a month. But yeah, it definitely big hit from taking time off. And that's what all YouTubers fear. Absolutely. And this is why I don't quit my day job, because I always tell everybody it could be gone tomorrow like that. They could turn you off. And it is what it is. It really is. And this is why bills like Bill C-11 is so terrifying for people who really like to get their stuff out there. That's awesome. 1 million. Yeah, it's amazing. It blows my mind all the time to, yeah, just a million. You got a million and just a million. He said nonchalantly, lol. Yeah, so I think I was averaging like around 1.4 million views a month, and that's where it came. I mean, millions and millions during the convoy, and that was just ridiculous when the channel went viral. But to be able to find a plateau and then improve is a daunting task on for YouTube. Newbie431 gifting 5 do something memberships. Thank you so much, Newbie431. Everybody get in the chat and give him a big old thanks for the membership. Definitely appreciate the support for the channel. Clyde's the only one that I watch on YouTube. Everyone else I watch on Rumble. YouTube has way too many ad interruptions. So you can always buy YouTube Premium. I don't know what to tell you. I have YouTube Premium. I'm a big firm believer in if you use a thing a lot, to buy their service. So for example, and this is a thing that people have been bugging about on Twitter, and I guess I'll get into this because I tweeted about it today, because I just thought it was kind of funny that people are losing their minds over the Twitter thing. But yeah, I tweeted this out today. How much extra money would people have if they spent the time they used bitching about Twitter Blue on something productive? In my opinion, I use Twitter a lot. I love the new features, and I'll happily pay the $8, which works out to like $11 Canadian. But I pay for the services that I use. I don't have any other subscriptions or anything like that. Those aren't really that important to me. But other people do. So for example, this guy who's griping about the blue check mark that you get when you buy Twitter Blue, 12 conservative MPs are paying $10 a month for the blue check mark emojis, and then lists off all these people. And then I replied, monthly subscriptions for Netflix, Hulu, HBO, YouTube Premium, Globe and Mail, National Post. The list goes on and on. But won't shell out a dime for the thing he spends every waking moment on for dopamine hits. And that's absolutely the truth. Like, if you use a thing, be willing to pay the people that put up all the server space and all this other stuff. And if you use YouTube, you're getting lots of ads. And I'm not being a shill for YouTube right now. I'm just telling you the truth. If you watch YouTube free, you get tons and tons and tons of ads. Yes, ad blockers work. They work fine, and it'll block ads, and then it gets hairy every once in a while, and then the ad blocker updates. But yeah, you don't get any ads, and you don't have to worry about blockers and all that stuff. And again, I'm not being a shill for YouTube. I use the service because I have a business on the service. This is what I do here, and to not pay the $10 a month or whatever it is, $13. It just seems funny. I quit Netflix after the cuties thing because I'm not a big fan of nonces, of which we all know what that means. It's the new word that we can use. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of anyone who is a nonce. So when cuties came out, I quit Netflix. I was like, I'm not going to support that, because I'm not into that kind of stuff. But I definitely got that one out of there. Yeah, unbelievable. Quit Netflix. I don't have Hulu. I don't have Disney Plus. So I couldn't boycott Disney in that way. We boycotted Disney in a different way. We normally, when we go to Tokyo, go to Disneyland. And we decided not to go to Disneyland. We went to Universal Studios in Osaka instead on our trip. But that's the thing. Have you played the game Car Mechanic Simulator 2021? Highly recommended. I played it for like 5 minutes, said this is stupid, and left. not gonna lie to you. But anyway, getting back to this strike. So back to the strike with Canadian government workers. You may disagree with me on this stuff, but I'm giving you a good reason why a good argument to why you should agree with me. Government workers, if you factor in the benefits that they get, make 8.5% more than private citizens in Canada. Now, if you take away the things, those benefits that they get, the wage premium is actually 5.5%. So they actually nominally per hour or for salaries over the course of a year make 5.5% more than their private sector counterparts. So don't come back to me again and say, I work in an office and my cousin who works in construction makes more money than me. Because it's a different job. It's a different job. And that's the way it works. People who work in the offices don't necessarily make as much as construction workers in the private industry either. That's just not the way it goes. Close, show us your t-shirt. I've already done that. I'm wearing Godzilla. Guys. Big fan of the kaiju. They also work less, and that is that is absolutely true. They work less. They work less hours. Now that's what I wanted that clip for. Oh man, I'm kicking myself for having lost that clip that I had, and I was actually looking all over the place to find it. Because it was a clip of a government worker saying basically that they should be allowed to work from the office, or work from home, and they should be able to get extra pay and then work from home indefinitely instead of having to come into the office 2 days a week. The 2 days a week that they have to go to work is just too much for them. And here's the deal. I am not against people working from home. I'm not against it. But there's no guarantee for productivity. And this is the whole motivation for why Elon Musk was pushing Twitter employees to get into the office. Absolutely. Yes, overtime at 2 times pay is something that they want. They're arguing for. This is a thing. So the law in Canada is if you work any hours over 44 hours a week, they have to pay you time and a half. They want it to be double time, and they probably want to claw it back to 40 hours. And these are things that the union are fighting for. Like if you work on a statutory holiday, it works out to double time and a half, even if you are just a normal worker, because you get paid for the day. And then you get time and a half on top of that. Like that's how it works. They want triple time on those holidays if they have to work. It's unbelievable. But yes, so they're asking for the right to stay and work from home, and I'm not against that. I'm not against working from home. But they need to be able to prove they're doing work. I honestly think that government workers should be put on a piecework on the scene. I am on the scene. Piecework. If they were switched to piecework and worked from home, so they get X amount for whatever task that they do, that seems like more of a a decent way of approaching it, because then there's an actual incentive for them to actually do the work. Of course, they wanted to be able to sit in their jammies and do the work and never have to leave their house. Great, that's fine. But at the same time, we should really, really be auditing these jobs and seeing how many of these workers actually need to be there. And like a lot of people, Snatch in the chat has commented saying that, not in the stream, but mentioned before, that, they should say we're going to, fire 20% of the workforce, but we're going to leave it up to the union. You decide who goes and you'll get your raises. But this is the cost that you'll have to pay. I mean, it should always be a give and a take. We can't afford it. We can't afford it after we're already paying government workers more than their private sector counterparts. It just does not work that way. We just can't afford it. Wish I could work as little as an at-home government employee, right? And I know how much work you do, Noob. Absolutely. Noob works a lot. But that's just the way it goes. Don't fire any of them. Just hire people who work from home as contractors with no benefits. There are ways around this. There are absolutely ways around this. I don't know why the government doesn't just outsource to people in that exact way. The bleeding heart argument always is, though, is that, you know, you need to take care of people because this is the thing. No, you need to be able to provide value for what it is that you do for a living. And that's something absolutely vital to the way that we do things. But moving on. One of the things that was mentioned in those workers that came up that were talking was the worker brought up the fact that she was afraid of COVID still. We have to realize that COVID is not over, and that we need to really make sure that the COVID thing keeps going because we're scared. We're scared of the COVID-19 pandemic still. And well, here's the deal. It's an excuse. It's an excuse to not come to the office. I'm terrified of COVID-19. Please don't make us come to the office because we're terrified. Get over it. Get over it. Get over it. It's over. It's over. Absolutely. So anyway, the Fraser Institute says available data on non-wage benefits suggests that the government sector enjoys an average over the private sector. Absolutely. Oh, hold on. We've got Mechanics with a $22 super chat. We should do a show together sometime. Official invite. Mechanics. Oh, I don't know your channel. Can I pop that up? Hold on a second. Mechanics, official invite. Do it. Hit me up in the Discord. Let's chat. We'll chat about that. Let's do something along those lines. But yeah, moving on. Getting back onto the story. Thank you so much for the super chat though. But yeah, definitely hit me up in the Discord. I'll be in there after the live stream and we can chat. If you break your leg, just say you have COVID-19. It's the biggest crutch around. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. Lamau, too afraid of the 2020 bug. Exactly. It's like people are just trying to milk it for all it's worth. And I'm just not hearing it. I'm not listening to it. It's done. It's absolutely over with. But here we are. Moving on. The True North says government workers make more, retire earlier, and get more time off than private sector. So again, here's more articles confirming the same thing we've just heard. And of course, here it is. And that's where we are. Now, this is an interesting story. Well, a lot of these workers for the government, the price of cheese has gone up because of all the whining going on. Whining going on. Yeah. Cheese and wine. Would you like some with that? Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to move on because I wanted to talk about this other thing that I got wind of, and this is incredible. So CERB came into question today, and it's trending all the time on Twitter. And a lot of times the CERB, the Canadian benefit that people had for when COVID-19 hit and everybody was sent home. Well, they had some benefit, emergency benefit for Clyde. The nice weather is back, and they don't want to go back. Exactly. Oh, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was so bitter during the COVID pandemic when everybody was told that they get to stay home and get a check from the government. I'm not a non-essential. I'm a mechanic, right? And we're considered essential services. We still have to fix cars. People still need their automobiles because they were going on vacations and doing fun stuff. and doing all this stuff while the pandemic was happening because they could be in their car and they could whatever, right? They just can't go to work except, mechanics do. Well, I live in a townhouse complex. And every day I would come home from work covered in dust in the heat of the sun, all black clothing, of course, right? Like sweaty, covered in dirt, covered in grease, all this. Walking home with my lunch pack and watching everybody sitting with their garage doors open and they're hanging out on their lawn chairs because they could be, feet apart from each other while they're having a neighborhood party, a block party, and drinking Mai Tais and Coronas in the sun. And I was just not having it. All of the, how was your day at work? Did not go well. It did not go well. Hey, thanks for doing the thing. Did not go well. I'm sorry, but this is, oof. Anyway, so CERB goes out and there was people that were working at the agencies, and one particular is a CRA, Canada Revenue Agency. And, all of that stuff happens, and then the vaccine mandate happens. Lamau, I can picture Clyde do something listening to All By Myself as he drives through the horde of non-essential workers. Oh, God. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. So CRA in the Canada Revenue Agency, a bunch of them started getting told that they won't be allowed to come back to work because they didn't take the poke. And we're talking people who weren't even told to come back to the office. There were some people that were told they don't have to come back to the office, but you're not allowed to be employed unless you took the jibby jabbers. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say it. I think you can say vaccine on YouTube anymore these days. But yeah, they were told, no, here's the mandate. You can't come back. So this story broke, and I thought this was crazy. This is from one day ago. This is people just going, okay, well, you're not going to give it to us. We're going to take our own, and well, just have a listen. It's crazy.
Morning, Jonathan.
Just so you know, it's not my real name. I'm a CRA collection agent, and in the beginning of the pandemic, we were all allowed to work from home, which was great, and our union had our back. But then as soon as the vaccine mandates came out, it made no sense. Justin Trudeau was forcing people who work at home to take a vaccine. So we started a Facebook group, and there's hundreds of us that did this just to kick back at Trudeau.
So are you suggesting that those who got caught up in or were against the vaccine mandates created a way to kick back money to themselves as a punishment to him?
Sure, we all put in, religious exemptions and everything else, and it all got denied, and PHAC, they kicked us to the curb too. Initially, our union...
Listen to that. PHAC, the union that's on strike right now, they kicked to the curb people who were on, who didn't want the vaccine. That's what happened.
Behind us. And then, they were like, okay, we got to all go get vaccinated. So we all did, but it was like, you know what? We're going to get our pound of flesh. So, the vaccine mandates were just awful. And so you want to talk about criminal things? Oh, I think this is Alex. Oh, I think they should be prosecuted as criminals. So should forcing people who work at home, who pose no threat to the public, to go take a vaccine.
I'm not for vaccine mandates either. I think the Prime Minister was a fool for going down that road. Having said that, are you saying that those workers, your colleagues, you felt justified in taking money as a punishment to others because you're only punishing the taxpayers and your fellow taxpayers?
Well, the taxpayers are punishing themselves for electing a government that would force people to take Indigenous people were forced to take vaccines and become sterile. And these are all things that we now say, oh, this is bad stuff.
Right, but I don't want to go down that road. We can bicker about vaccines all they want. But my question is, how pervasive was this across the public sector where you had employees who felt justified of stealing from the taxpayers to get back at the government for their decisions?
We had our own Facebook group, and we were all on it. So there's hundreds of us that, we took CERB for the rest of what we could get from it. And we know the system, Alex. We know we don't have to give our social insurance number. We multiply applied.
They applied multiple times, not giving their social insurance numbers, nothing, and got cash from CERB. And meanwhile, people are being told that they had to pay it back, right? People who did it legitimately, they're being told that they had to pay it back because for whatever reason they didn't comply, or they weren't eligible after the fact for all this stuff. It's crazy. And the government was just giving it away. They had like no qualifications whatsoever. They're just like, here, take it, whatever. Everybody just grab onto it. Unbelievable.
So how much money are we talking?
50,000, and there's many of us. 50,000, and there's many of us.
50 grand a head. These people were just taking it. They're like, no, okay, see you later. You just created a stupid situation, screwed us over, and they just took 50 grand from the government. And of course, the government doesn't have 50 grand. They borrow money to send this out. And how many people did this? He says hundreds. I bet you it wasn't just hundreds. And they'll never catch them. This is the reality of it. They're never going to catch these people. That money went out. It could have been salaries for services rendered, but the government refused it. They got people disgruntled, and this is what happens. This is what happens when you have disgruntled employees, especially people who know the system and know their way around it. And this is just unbelievable. But here we go. And this is alleged, right? Did it really happen? I don't know. Is it true? I don't know. Will they ever find out? I don't know. No clue. But it was definitely newsworthy because holy. But yeah, that's the situation. People get screwed over, and well, they show their ways. Now, lefties in Canada don't think grocery store companies should profit. This is Ben Bankus, comedian. I went and saw him down in Vancouver. His show was great. Fantastic show. Deborah McDonald with another $55 super chat. F you stealing my taxes. Yeah, well, holy cow, right? Absolutely. Well, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Insane. Clyde, do something. Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, we'll find out. Who knows? Oh, wow. Deborah, you're on a roll tonight. That's insane. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. But Ben Bankus jumping in here. He's a stand-up comedian, podcaster from Toronto. He was also running for mayor, which is hilarious. Anyway, saying lefties in Canada don't think that grocery store companies should profit off of sale of food. This is how dumb these people are. So should every restaurant also not profit? How about every liberal who believes in socialism isn't allowed to profit? Give your extra money to me. Why not? Like, at what extent does any business is not allowed to have a profit? What is the deal? I replied to him saying, there are people in Canada actually advocating for government-run grocery stores. If you forget history, you'll be damned to repeat it. But this is actually true. There was, I think Andrew Lawton covered that story where he was talking about there was a poll, and actually 4% of the respondents said that they would be cool with government-run supermarkets, which is just insane. And here, this goes back to a story, and this is why I posted this for Ben Bankus. An amazed Boris Yeltsin during his unscheduled visit to Randall's supermarket in Houston, Texas in 1990. I remember bringing this up in one of the chats, and people weren't sure who it was, Yeltsin or Khrushchev or whatever. It was Yeltsin. Here it is. Yeltsin, then 58, roamed the aisles of Randall, nodding his head in amazement, wrote Asin. He told his fellow Russians in his entourage that if people who often must wait in line for most goods saw the conditions of U.S. supermarkets, there would be a revolution. Realistically, when I saw the shelves and crammed with hundreds of thousands of cans, Cartons of goods of every possible sort. For the first time, I felt quite frankly sick with despair for the Soviet people, Yeltsin wrote. That's such a potentially super rich country as ours had been brought to a state of such poverty. It's terrible to think of it. Even the Politburo doesn't have this choice. Not even Mr. Gorbachev, he said. That's insane. But yeah, you can see many people posting pictures of what Soviet supermarkets looked like. This is absolutely the way it was. Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? Exactly. This is what happens when there are no profit in producing, shipping, or selling foods. Unreal. So, of course, every time there's a communist has to jump in there and leave his watermark or his stain on life. This guy saying, of course, an alleged communist who wants to see all the world's people free from the dystopian nightmare of capitalism. Anyway, let's sorry, put this one in here. Under capitalism, food isn't produced to feed people. It's produced to make a profit. When it's not profitable to feed people, we let them starve. Even when our labor has conquered scarcity, capitalism must manufacture it in order to justify its existence. Just stupid. Anyway, I replied to this, conquered scarcity, cute. Let me know when that happens. Like, we keep hearing this, conquering scarcity, and it is a communist theme. If you ever hear this from anybody, it's Marxism. That's Marxism. You hear it from, there's this whole idea of the resource-based economy people. They're much like the Klaus Schwabs, with the idea that we're going to get post-capitalism once we realize we can make everything infinitely reproducible at no cost, or what have you. Resource-based economies saying that one day there will be no scarcity, and that's just not true. Nate's Memes with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Pharmaceutical, energy, insurance need to be non-profit. Well, we have insurance in British Columbia. It's non-profit. It's a British Columbia ICBC, and that does not work out. Healthcare is non-profit. How great's that working out in Canada? Energy and pharmaceutical, I don't know. Let's see how that works if we get to that. Matthew Phillips with a $6.99 super chat. Adding onto Ben Bankis' tweet, Canadian leftists believe food comes from supermarkets and their god, big government, and Fidel's son. Absolutely. It's ridiculous, the stuff that they believe. But again, they believe this conquering scarcity thing. You can't. Even if we were able to get enough stuff, human wants are infinite and resources are finite. We'll always want more than we can consume. So this guy replies to me, we produce enough food on this planet to feed 12 billion people. In Canada and the US, we throw out 40% in the trash, and 250,000 people die every day on this globe, not because there's no food, but because they can't afford it. People over profits is needed. Now, there's a lot missing, and I only had one reply to give, so I said, they throw away much food because of the litigious nature of the useless bottom feeders in our society. Take this up with the bums that have sued over getting a sore tummy after dumpster diving or being offered day olds. Liability is a real thing. You're going after the wrong people. And this is for real. A lot of the reason why grocery stores will throw out food and not give it to homeless, and they don't even give it to cattle, or they don't even give it to pigs anymore, because of the litigious nature of people. People sue people with goodwill in our society, and it sucks, and we need to get over that, because this is why charities fall through the cracks, and this is why charitable people don't do charitable things after a while, because people literally will sue you. Deborah again with $11 super chat. Thank you so much. Clyde, I spent my beer money on you today. Sorry, bud. Don't be sorry that you spent your beer money on me. You got beer money for me. I'm gonna have some good tasty wobbly pops after this live stream. Thanks to you, really appreciate it. In all seriousness, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Very nice, Clyde. High five, dude. Yeah, it's absolutely true that it's the litigious nature for the reason why they're throwing food away. Now, when you're talking about the 250,000 or the 25,000 people that die every day on this globe, I don't believe that. There are people that die every day on this globe of natural causes. But if you're talking about people that are dying of starvation, I'll tell you where they're not dying. In developed countries with good capitalist economies. That's not where they're dying. They're dying in shithole countries with backwards beliefs that believe in this stupid crap. Places like China. Come on, get out of town. Anyway, the replies continued. I did say also the we do, like we throw away, we produce enough. We do. How much of this did you do? I've yet to meet a commie that actually produces more than they consume. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Find me a commie that produces more than they consume, and I will retract that statement. Absolutely, I will. I will eat my hat on that one. But I'm not backing down on that one. Never. And he says, I doubt you've ever met a communist. Believe me, I have. I said, I believe people when they tell me that they're communists. That's it. And he says, well, I'm a communist who worked 55 hours a week and have worked for 35 years so far, and I'm not your enemy for wanting workers to be in charge rather than ruling class that enslaves us all. To which I replied, the village idiot is not the enemy of the people, but we still restrain him from destroying the things out of stupidity. I'll give you the shortcut. There are nice capitalists that will fly you to North Korea so you can live in communist bliss. And that, I don't feel sorry for saying mean stuff to people who have such horrible, destructive ideas. I'm honest, I'm serious about that, and I'm not going to apologize ever for taking a commie down in the comment sections. This is just the reality of the situation. The ideas are they're dumber than the Soviets. So hear me out. If you're a communist today, you're not only like following an evil ideology, but you're stupider than the people that tried it first, because the people tried it and it failed many times. And we've seen it. They failed during industrial revolutions. They failed after industrial revolutions. They failed after wartime. They failed in peacetime. They failed every time. Every time it's been tried, it's been failed. And people will say, no, but they didn't do it right because they didn't do it right. It wasn't real communism. To which I would reply, no, it failed because they adhered so well to the doctrine of Marx. That's why it failed. The only time that communists have ever done well is when they opened up free market sectors in their economies. Hence the successes of the cities of China on the eastern seaboard. They went from starvation to cronyism overnight, and it's been cronyism ever since. It absolutely has been. And I just love the idea. Even China went capitalist with Deng, LOL, and became second largest market. So now this is where it's important to understand the difference here. So first off, the first thing to explain is capitalism isn't the best name for it. Capitalism is the name that Karl Marx coined as a critique of the market economy. Laissez-faire is a term that the French scholastics came up with, means leave it alone. So laissez-faire capitalism or laissez-faire market economy is the concept. People, so like a lot of people will disagree with that. They'll say, no, we should have some regulation in the marketplace. And I tend to agree with that. Some minor regulations that, are, more overarching rules for engagement, stuff like that. Not very specific, tuned regulations, because Murray Rothbard said when a market's regulated, the first thing to be bought and sold are the regulators, right? That's the way it always works. Now, what they brought into China was not, they brought in a market economy, but it wasn't laissez-faire, and it wasn't what Karl Marx critiqued it as capitalism. The reason why everybody calls it capitalism is because his critique was saying that the capital owners are the only ones who ever benefit from society. That's wholly inaccurate. There are so many people that have benefited from market economy that are not capitalists, and that's just the truth. There's so much benefit from the entire market economy that so many other people who are not directly involved in the market, that are just consumers of the market or participants as employees in businesses and stuff like that, they've all earned, they've all done way better off because of market economy. And you can just look at, the poorest people in America or Canada today are still way better off than even the kings and queens of previous societies, and that's true. People are poor, but they have refrigeration, entertainment, cellular phones. This is all the stuff of the market economy. Now, I'd much rather be poor in Canada than be rich in North Korea. This is a fact of the matter. And a market economy always leads to, and in a free and open society, makes classes a very transient sort of thing. You can go from the lower classes to the middle classes to the upper classes in your lifetime. It doesn't even take generations. This is the reality. This is definitely the reality of it. But yes, with the markets that Deng, was his name, is Deng, the communist leader in the 1970s, who brought about those economic sectors to trade with the rest of the world. They were overseen by the Communist Party. They were allowed to do free reign, but immediately cronyism sunk in. The old, hey, would you like to keep the ability to keep running this business? Grease the palms. That's absolutely how we do things around here, as they said. But yeah, not exactly the best market economy when it's essentially, so under communism in China, communism just led to absolutely devastating consequences. Chairman Mao, starvation. They had the boards that ran the people weren't allowed to sow the crops that they wanted to sow. They had to have instruction from the boards, and it led to crop failures all over the place. The same thing happened in the Soviet Union. Russia went from the breadbasket of Europe to the #1 importer of wheat in, I believe, about 4 years after communism set in there. It's horrible. It's horrible. It leads to starvation. It's a bad system. There's no price mechanism. It's central authority. It never works. Now, modern China, or the capitalist China, there's a facade of capitalism, and it's more like the Hitlerian model for fascism, where they actually, because Hitler came in and he said, okay, this is the way it's going to be. They designed it after Mussolini's fascism, and they said, here's how we're going to run the economy. People will actually run businesses, and they'll do this stuff, but it'll be on the facade of private ownership. And this is where we're going with Canada, by the way. This is absolutely the direction that Canada is going. It's this facade of private enterprise, private ownership. And as long as you're doing stuff that the state's happy with, you can keep producing and you can keep doing things the way you want to do it. But the second the state disagrees with you or wants a change or whatever their whims are, they just come in, and this is not your property. You're actually just a manager of the property. And if you don't do what we ask of you, you no longer own that property, and you're gone. Somebody else will come in. It usually comes with a long, lengthy prison sentence, or you get deleted from not only the history books, let's just put it that way. And that's the way it worked in Germany, and that's the way it works in China. And if you don't think so, ask a businessman who's ever done work with anyone in China. You have your party officials, your local party officials. You absolutely know who they are. They know who you are, and you pay them. And the amount of nepotism and corruption that they have is just uncanny. But hey, that's where we're going. That's where we're going in Canada. So we'll just we'll see where we're at. As long as people understand this and they push back, this is where we get our fight. You know, we get our fight and we push back, and then we try to stop this kind of thing from happening. Neek, thank you so much for the $22 super chat. Put another chat in there if you want to add to the conversation. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, amazing. So speaking of China, we've got Chinese things here in Canada. Oh God, some of this stuff you just can't make it up. But here we go. I put her in a little sneak peek of this one in the thumbnail for tonight's live stream, in case you didn't see it. You can check that one out later, but here we go.
So you get scared and...
Why can't I rewind it? Come on. There we go. So we all know this face. This is a face that only I don't know what could love. Here we go.
I think you should have to get more money. Once I get over 400,000 jab every maybe 2 or 3 days to make sure you don't get the Omicron. Otherwise, you're going to possibly drop dead very quickly. I know this is not happening, but I'm going to tell you it is. So you get scared and then you give the pharmaceutical company more money. Once I get over $400,000 a year, I'm going to maybe get an Invisalign. I think
I think that was a direct quote. I'm not sure. I think we'll just put that one on the shelf as yeah, this is of course our lovely can't say it. I can't do it. Teresa Tam, the public health officer of Canada. Yeah, the CPP Fauci. Ben Bankus giving her his best impersonation of this one. But the news today is really creepy. If you think this one's creepy, let's get that chat back in here. Lamau, the accent, yeah, of course. You guys got to follow Ben Bankus. I can't say enough good stuff about him. Amazing, funny comedian, up and comer. He's gonna be huge. Thoughts on Elon Musk's response to regulations to be made by AI governments? I know you aren't a fan of regs, so would like your thoughts on it. So, okay, quickly get into this. I want to get into this story. I'm not a fan of regulation. So I'm not a fan of over-regulation, is what I'm saying. I do believe that we need regulation of markets. There are certain rules that need to take place, but I think people need it's like the necessary evil of government, right? There sounds like Russell Peters doing an impression of Chinese. similar, but yeah. So I'm not a fan of regulation, but I am a fan. I'm not a fan of over-regulation. And that's a really difficult one to balance. And I'm open to discussion about it, but I definitely think that again, when you regulate a market, the first thing to be bought and sold are the regulators. When it comes to AI, I agree with Elon Musk. I think the dangers are there, but I don't think that we're going to be able to do anything about it. That's my honest opinion. I think that if we regulate it here, then the Chinese will go unfettered and just make it anyway. It's kind of the arms race to see who gets there first. But that's where we are with AI. Check out the podcast that aired last night. I was with Tom Marazzo, and we were talking about the ethics of AI, where we actually got into that. So that's on the channel. Check it out. It's under podcasts. It's number 13. of the podcast that we've done so far. But that's it. Oh, and by the way, next week there won't be a podcast because I'm preoccupied on the Wednesday when I record these, so we won't be having that, unfortunately. And then we're moving things so that we do the podcast section we'll be doing on the Friday live streams. So we're gonna amalgamate the live streams with the podcast. So we'll do my time with you guys, and then we'll have a guest, and then we'll close it out, and then that'll be the live streams on Friday. So it won't be full 2 hours with you guys. It'll be an hour and an hour or something like that. We'll work it out. And then I'll snip out the section with a guest, and I'll probably be posting that on the Mondays moving forward, so people can check out that as a podcast. And then I just too many sleepless nights trying that. We all try things, and some things work and some things just don't for different reasons. But that's that. Anyway, let's get into this because I wanted to talk about this. And this story is, well, creepy, and it's on, again, the National Post. It has the worst layout of a website on the planet. Get with that, National Post. Please fix your website. First reading, Public Health Agency of Canada report calls for toppling of capitalism and liberty. I wish I was being hyperbolic, and I wish they were being hyperbolic, but this is actually true. The report's all-white authors identified themselves as uninvited land occupiers before calling for the wholesale decolonization of society in the interest of public health. Wrap that one around your head and smack yourself. Oh, God, this is just unbelievable. Oh, great show tonight from Don Bolette. I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for hanging out and tuning in. We can't have the referendum for kicking out Trudeau now. Yeah, I wish. This is from Tristan Hopper of the National Post. Oh, my goodness. The report concludes that climate change and the poor public health are caused by many of the same things. White supremacy, capitalism, colonialism, and racism. I wish I was joking about this stuff. You can't make this stuff up, folks. It's unreal. First reading is, I don't care. Fix your layout. New Health Canada report suggests public health officials should be openly advocating for the toppling of capitalism, Western society, and even the very concept of liberty and individualism. Fundamental changes in our societal or socio-economic structures are needed to rebuild the relationships with each other and with our planet, reads the conclusion of the April 17th report prepared for Chief Public Health Officer Teresa Tam. The paper, written by 3 authors who identify as white settlers, also recommended that Canadian public health actions should focus on decolonization, justice, and equity above all. The 72-page report, What We Heard, Perspectives on Climate Change and Public Health in Canada, was commissioned to detail the impacts of climate change on health and well-being of people living in Canada. The authors surveyed 30 academics and public health experts for their input. And this is why I say we need to focus our attention on academia, because this is where this crap is coming from. These people are insane. Insane. Legitimately insane. And they're in their little echo chambers of academia, and this is where it comes from, and it trickles down. This is why Bud Light's turned into tranny fluid. It's coming into our society, and it's branching its way out. It's unbelievable. There are indeed a number of emerging public health issues spurred by a warming climate. One example is an expansion of the ranges for disease carrying mosquitoes vastly increasing the number of people potentially exposed to malaria, dung fever, and West Nile virus. Well, we almost completely eradicated malaria from North America. And it's not climate change that's bringing it back. It's not. It's a number of people coming in without proper vaccinations, and I'm like, people who are not properly, like, not experimental vaxes. We're talking like real legitimate vaccinations, and people just haven't had them because they're illegal or whatever. These are things that happen, and not to mention the lie around DDT. I know a lot of people, even in the chat, will probably think DDT is a toxic substance that you can't use, right? That it thins the shells of eggs of indigenous birds. Turns out that's all not true. It's all not true. Silent Spring was a book, and it was actually not true. It was not true, and that went around, and they wholesale banned DDT worldwide, leading to millions and millions of people being affected by malaria. Thank you. Great job, environmentalists. But Health Canada, oh, come on, website. But Health Canada report is careful not to get into specifics. There is no explicit mention of a condition of infectious illness that is expected to become worse than in Canada as a result of climate change. Rather, the report features on Canadian public health professionals explaining how they should focus on the less tangible determinants, such as legal, colonial, and racist factors. We're talking about public health here, folks. Public health is talking about colonialism that doesn't even happen. It hasn't happened for hundreds of years, or at least 100 years. Colonialism it's in the past. Nobody's colonizing stuff. Oh, God. If we don't address capitalism, if we don't address colonialism, racism, the patriarchy, etc., we're going to tread water for a long time until we eventually drown, reads one excerpt from the quoted in the report. Have you been following any of the Citizens Inquiry streams? I saw Tom Marazzo. I haven't seen a lot of it. I've been catching updates. Viva Fry did a really excellent update recently. But yeah, no, unfortunately, I haven't been catching enough of it. We're working on other stories. But had Tom Marazzo on last week with an update of what was actually going on with that. Exactly what are they proposing then? We surrender all ownership of everything to them? Well, hey, Tempest, you have heard the saying, you will own nothing and you will be happy, right? These are words that they actually believe. This is really about the foundations of our society, the capitalist system, and the culture of extraction. And we need to change that. How do we do that? Said another. The respondent delivered with a lengthy stupid website explanation of why the core values of Western society stood in the way of, most notably, the concept of liberty and individualism. Yeah, those are great, great concepts. Liberty and individualism. It advances the individual over the collective. It says, as long as I get what I want, bugger you. I don't believe it says that, but, that's your interpretation. And, well, I'm just, that's just kind of like your opinion, man, as the great Lebowski would have said. And it leads to a huge number of problems, and it undermines the collective process, they said. Yeah, as opposed to what? The central authority that commands the collective. We're not freaking ants, people. We're not ants. And this is why Stormship Trooper, the original book, it was nothing like the movie. The whole book was the aliens were this race of insect-like creatures, and it's kind of ironic that we're talking about insects and we're talking about the World Economic Forum and stuff. Anyway, they were like these insect-like creatures, and they were advanced civilization, right? But the allegory of it was they had a collectivized system, and they were able to function in a collectivized system because they were insects. And that was the allegory of it. Was actually a political statement that humans can't do that. We don't operate that way, and you can't screw with biology. Sorry, all those macho mams out there. Yeah, the hive mind. Yeah. The report distills the views of 30 Canadian public health officials and academics deemed to have some understanding of the role of public health systems. This includes many already at top levels in the Canadian public health establishment, as well as 3 Canada research chairs. Among them are Sandra Allison, formerly Chief Medical Health Officer for Northern BC, and Christine Mwick, I don't know how to say it, Regional Medical Officer of Health Northern Region of Nova Scotia. Also solicited were Trevor Hancock, the first leader of the Green Party of Canada, total commies. I'm not gonna. The watermelons, green on the outside, red on the inside. And Melissa Lem, a Vancouver family physician who pioneered the idea of prescribing nature to patients. Sorry. Prescribing nature to patients? What? You got the cold? You got a cold? Just get out in nature. Just get out there. Just have some nature. Hey, what is that? Prescribing nature to patients. What does that even mean? These hippy dippy dumb dippy shits. Hippy dipshits, I guess. Oh, it's so dumb. Oh my God. It hurts. It hurts. You know? Oh, you got pneumonia? Why don't you? I know it's a cold, rainy day. Just get outside. Just get out there. Just get out there. Nate's memes for the $2 super chat. The sheep have no idea they're led by wolves. No kidding. Thanks for the super chat. All 30 were asked either to focus on groups one-on-one interviews. What roles should the public health system play and why? Ultimately, the report concludes that the climate change and poor public health are caused by many of the same things. White supremacy, capitalism, colonialism, and racism. Whoa! Who knew it? Who knew it? Poor public health is caused by white supremacy, capitalism, colonialism, and racism. We need the new communist man, and we'll have great health, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have the best health everywhere. Smoke the grass. Yeah, Jeff. It's so crazy. It's so crazy what they have to say. The report is clear that its content comes from uninvited land occupiers, yet the authors say that they are sensitive to indigenous perspectives. Like, what? Are we all citizens of the planet, or are we occupiers of people's indigenous lands? Tell me that seriously, because we can't have it both ways. We can't have it both ways. I'm sorry, I didn't choose where I was born. I was born here. This is where I live. I've moved to other places. I've been a foreigner in foreign lands. I know what it's like. Seriously, this crap has got to end. I'm sorry. It's just so mind-numbing, this concept. Like, you can't have it both ways. Either we're global citizens or we're sovereign, like people of sovereign countries. You know, we're citizens of sovereign country. I'm not sovereign citizen. I don't do that game. I'm not playing that one. No, but like we're either global citizens or we're citizens of nations. We're not. You can't be saying that the planet is ours and it's our, and blah blah blah, and then we're occupiers of native land. What is it? Pick a lane. Pick a lane. And obviously, this is the thing that we got to pick a lane for this. And okay, I'm not going too much further in this article. I'm just gonna get right to it. So the big crux of what they're getting at is that capitalism, or the market economy's got to go. We got to scrap it. We need something new. Hey, guess what? We got this Klaus Schwabi guy. He's this Cotton Schwab. He's got this new concept. It's called stakeholder capitalism, and he's got all the the cabinets in his back pocket. That's what he says. And this new stakeholder capitalism, that'll be a good bet. Well, what is stakeholder capitalism? It's the worst kind of cronyism. It's fascism of the Hitlerian variety. And that's what he wants to bring about. He wants to bring that about. And it's all going to be based on ESG scores, whatever marketing wank, just to get you to subscribe to it. Literally. Until they get a hold of power, then they don't care about ESG. They don't care about the environment. Do you think they care about the environment legitimately? No. If any of these people cared about the environment legitimately, they would be on China and India and all the biggest polluters. They would be after them. They wouldn't be in the first world where it's cleaner than it's ever been. Oh, Jay, I love your comment, fascism from the left. But here's the thing. Fascism is of the left. I know there's this weird, mental gymnastic that people do to claim that fascism is a right-leaning ideology. How? Like, legitimately explain to me how people who are socialists, who believe in socialism, somehow, right? They go, I'm really socialist. Here's a new brand of socialism that's on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Like, it doesn't work that way. I know that there's a mental gymnastic exercise where they had this horseshoe theory where like your political spectrum goes this way and then it has a horseshoe effect that goes right to fascism that's way on the other end. Like, it doesn't work that way. You have your political spectrum, and I know a lot of people have like the XY axis, so it's like personal freedom, and authoritarianism over people's personal lives, and then it's economic freedom and authoritarianism economically. Well, fascism is both the same. Like, seriously, think about this for a second. If you're a libertarian, free-loving, whatever, classical liberal, you'd say people should be able to do whatever the heck they want with their personal lives as long as they're not harming anybody, and they should have all the fruits of their own labor. You're way in the corner here. Communism and socialism is on the far left, which is Stalin, Mao. Fascism is on the right, which is Hitler. Hitler hated Stalin. Yeah, but communist leaders hate each other. Socialists hate each other. It's fine. They can hate each other. But I'm explaining why these are not so far away from each other politically on the spectrum. So you have your freedom index or whatever, authoritarian index. They say that communism, because it wants to control all the aspects of your life in your personal life, and they want to control all the means of production. So they're way in the authoritarian camp on that side. Well, what was the Hitlerian form of socialism? It was fascism. And don't forget, there were the National Socialist Party. It's in the name. They were socialists. And yeah, people, like I said, they do the mental gymnastics to find it on the other side of the spectrum. But think about it. They wanted to control the aspects of society and people's personal lives, people's personal effects and everything, and they wanted to control the means of production. They're right next to the communists, the full-blown communists. There are degrees of thought and ideas in socialism, but it's a national socialism, as opposed to world domination socialism, of the Soviet persuasion. But yeah, no, those are right next to each other on the political spectrum on the very, very far left. They are the same thing but different sides of the same coin, LOL, but two extremes. But again, political spectrum, there's no reason why they should be categorized on the right. I fail to see that argument, and I know that they've been labeled that for so long, and people will say, well, it's because they're racist. You think the Chinese under Mao weren't racists? You think there weren't racists in the Soviet Union? I mean, they hated the kulaks. They wanted to murder them all. That was the thing. The Han Chinese are in the process of getting rid of the Uyghur Muslims after all this time. You know what I mean? You think they weren't racists? I mean, yeah. No, it's this is a thing. Ugh. But I could go on for about that for forever and ever and ever. But hey, where are we going to leave this off? Where are we going to leave this stream off? We've been going for 2 hours and 15 minutes, 16 minutes now. I don't want to leave this on a bad note. Things can always go crazy and be horrible all the time, but we definitely have to keep our minds about us as these things happen to us. G Meister, member for 10 months. Look at that, 10 months strong. Amazing. Just got here. Miss anything? Lol. Yeah, the whole stream. We're about to get out of here. But epic stream. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I mean, it's just me talking for 2 hours. And to hear that really gets me excited. Oh, yeah. Great thing to end the stream off on is two things. In Discord, which I'll be there right after this stream. We're going to go into the Discord. We're going to have a chat. We're going to have a wobbly pops. We're going to do our usual thing. But there is a gaming section in the Discord now. There are some members of the community that wanted me to reach out to you guys, to anybody who is into gaming. There's a new gaming server in a game called 7 Days to Die. There's the 7 Days to Chat in the Discord, where people have started a server and they're inviting anybody who wants to come, and they've just reset it back to the 14-day mark. So if you join, you won't be like far behind and the zombies are all crazy and all that stuff. If you're really into that kind of stuff and you like playing with a group of people in a PvP server where you can join up, or you can come in and be the villain, or you can come in and be the member of the team. You can do what you want. Join in there. There's a lot of fun and a lot of people. There's a completely separate chat for that and an area for everybody who's doing that. Not to mention, excuse me, going to be launching the website really soon. I'll keep you guys all posted on that. What's awesome that's happening in the website, and I might have to share something here with you. Just things that get everybody excited, and I know a lot of people get excited to see things like this. Are do I actually have to download it before I put it in there? Okay, no, I can put it right there. This might get people a little bit excited. Right here. Yes, that's right. We're going to be opening up a merch store on the website. So we'll be able to bring this kind of thing to you guys. Hats, shirts, the things that everybody's been bugging me about for a long time. This is definitely something that people have been wanting, and I haven't gotten around to. So we're going to be introducing that stuff to you guys. It's going to be great. I hope it is worth the wait. So many people have been asking for it, and that's the thing. But we'll be launching the website. It's going to be a great place to bookmark so you can keep in touch or keep noted for all those things. I know a lot of boomers like to have like a website that they open on the daily basis, and that could be your one-stop shop for that. Eventually, I'll try to improve the website. I'd like to have written articles, and I want to get maybe a writing team together, maybe some people that want to write articles. I know I have some people that write fantastic stuff for Substack and things like that. Maybe I can start publishing articles for people to expand their horizons, expand what's going on here, bring more news to a lot of people. And hopefully when we get into the idea of my goals are to infiltrate our academics and our academia in Canada, and hopefully we can use the website to launch that into the next wave of freedom-loving Canadians moving forward, people who want to have a manifest their own destiny in this country. ChatGPT, your articles, Lamau. Oh God, yeah, okay. Anyway, this is what we're going to be doing here. That was a sneak peek. I'm glad you guys really enjoyed this live stream. Thank you everybody for the super chats. That was really fantastic. Really helps out the channel a lot and helps to improve what I'm doing here. Helps me get more capital, because I'm a capitalist. I'm one of those dirty capitalists. More equipment for making this content for everybody and making things happen around the channel and around Canada moving forward. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to bringing you guys more stuff. Come chat with us. Come hang out in the Discord. Links, as always, in the description down below. And we'll see you all there, or we'll see you in the next one on Monday morning.